What is going on, my beautiful Patriots family? It's your boy Colby with Patriots Global, back here with another video. And we had some breaking news. And you know what? I honestly did not fix this camera before I went live. So let's turn that a little bit. But we had some breaking news go on today. The Patriots obviously off of training camp for the day. I had a video that I was getting ready to prepare, talking about some of my winners and losers for the Patriots from the first week of training camp. And then we get some breaking news that I really don't feel is all that shocking after Drew Rosenhaus was at Patriots training camp yesterday for day 2 of pads. This was pretty much signaling that a deal was getting pretty close to being done. And of course, you guys know what I'm talking about. That is the New England Patriots extending defensive tackle Davon Godchaux to a 2-year contract. We're going to break down my thoughts on this one because I feel like there are a lot of different thoughts going on amongst this fan base. Some who love extending Davon Godchaux because they feel that he is a staple to this defense. But then the other side of the spectrum saying, one, why are we getting this done before Matthew Judon? But two, why are we extending him when you can upgrade at nose tackle at the end of this upcoming season? We're going to break all that down in today's video. But real quick, I got to give a shout out to my boy Reggie P. Before we even start today's stream, my boy Reggie P is out here being the first donator of the chat. And not just that, a massive donation of $20. Reggie, buddy, I appreciate you so much for donating, giving back to the channel. Another longtime supporter of the channel, so I appreciate you for sticking with me. You said, thank you for all the hard work all offseason. I got you, buddy. And honestly, it's going to get only crazier as we enter the regular season. We're going to be doing live watch parties for every single game for the New England Patriots this upcoming season. Well, unless I'm doing something for, obviously the AFC's roundtable and traveling and whatnot. But as long as we're not traveling for games, then we're going to be doing live watch parties here on the channel. Going to be doing post-game breakdowns after that. A lot of really good content coming up for you guys this upcoming season. We're going to react together. We're going to live through the season together. So if you liked what we're doing this offseason, wait till the regular season comes because I'm not going to get any sleep with how busy I'm going to be. Appreciate you though, Reggie. Seriously do, buddy. When you guys donate, it goes so far in supporting the channel. But let's just break down the news that we have here. So we got some news today. Let me zoom in a little bit so it's not so wide for you guys. But this is per Adam Schefter. Another extension in New England. Patriots standout. Standout, I feel like, is a loose term there. Loose term there, Adam Schefter. But Patriots standout defensive tackle Davon Godchaux reached an agreement on a 2-year extension worth up to $21 million. That includes $16.5 million guaranteed. The deal was negotiated by Drew Rosenhaus and, of course, a couple of other agents. As I did mention a little bit earlier, Drew Rosenhaus was at Patriots training camp yesterday, talking to Elliot Wolf, talking to Gerard Mayo. And we did see that Davon Godchaux had his pads on and he was participating. All of these were key signs that Davon Godchaux was clearly getting some type of extension, especially because Godchaux has been holding in during practice, right? He's been holding in during spring practices. He started holding in during training camp too. So the fact that pads go on and he's randomly not holding in, again, another key signal that they were getting an extension done. And I think our biggest takeaway so far that everybody's going to say is, poor Matthew Judon, bro. Poor Matthew Judon. Why are we not getting this damn extension done with Matthew Judon yet? I mean, it's a good point. It's the fact that Matthew Judon is the best player currently on the Patriots, and everybody has gotten an extension done before him. He is quite literally the last player that needs an extension, and he's the best player on the roster. It's a little bit ironic. But also, everybody's saying, why is Matthew Judon suddenly holding in practice? Why is he not showing up to practice? It's probably because Matthew Judon did everything the correct way. Matthew Judon showed up to practice. He was a good sport. He did what he was asked, all just waiting for a new contract. While here, Davon Godchaux, who we're going to break down his statistics in a little bit here, he's not a standout defensive tackle. Quite honestly, I don't think he deserved an extension. I think he deserved a revised contract for this upcoming year, but he did not deserve a contract extension. He was vocally talking to the media about his displeasures with his contract. Now, he felt disrespected and how he wanted to be respected by the Patriots, and he was holding in. Matthew Judon was doing everything the correct way, and they still gave the guy who was doing things the incorrect way a contract before Matthew Judon, which is probably why Judon said, you know what, fine. If you guys are going to give a contract to a guy who's doing things incorrectly, who's being a little bit pouty, who is holding in during practice and creating some drama, if you're going to give that guy an extension, but not me, maybe I should just do what he's doing because clearly it's working for him. Maybe if I do it, it'll work for me. But in terms of this contract, this is going to be on top of the contract that Davon Godchaux obviously has, which he would have been in contract year for this upcoming 2024 season. So this really, if you think about it, puts Davon Godchaux under contract for the Patriots for the next 3 years. This obviously, too, is news that's just coming out. So we don't have the true breakdown on a year-to-year basis and all the details about this contract. But Godchaux right now is 29 years old. So if you do that math, he's going to be what? 32 years old by the time his contract is up here in New England, which should well put him past his prime, well put him past his career, and probably finish his career here in New England. Now, what you have to note is up to $21 million. So that would give him just over $10 million per year on this new contract if he hits all the incentives. That's what you have to look at with this news, is it says up to. So $21 million over those 2 years is the maximum money that he's going to be able to make. What we have to see is the guaranteed money he's going to make per year and what the base salary is going to be per year to really give us an idea on what Davon Godchaux is going to be making. But you look at that guaranteed money, you split that in half, around roughly $8 million per year. Look, I'm not a big fan of Davon Godchaux. I think that he's a great guy in the locker room, and he kind of fits the mold of what the Patriots want in their players, both off the field and on the field. But he's just not a guy that is dominant. Okay, look, his type of play doesn't show up on the field, and I will say that. And he said that himself. The type of player that he is, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, and that is correct. Let me get back on the screen here for you guys. But at the end of the day, with the contract that he was looking for, he had an $11.8 million cap hit this upcoming year. That's well above what realistically he should be making. Before we continue on, though, I do see we got another donation. Whenever we get donations, of course, we have to go right to the donator and answer their questions. Donators always get first priority. My boy, Pat's Fan, 8711 with a $2 donation says, keep up the hard work, Patriots Global. Really appreciate you, buddy, and really appreciate you for donating to the channel, supporting the channel, going that extra mile to help us out here on the channel. But like I was saying, Davon Godchaux, the type of player he is, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet. But at the end of the day, players that make the most money, wide receivers, quarterbacks, star defensive linemen, the guys making the most money are guys that do show up on the stat sheet. That's just the truth of the matter. It doesn't matter if you're a core piece to a defense. At the end of the day, if you don't show up on the stat sheet, you're not going to get paid as one of the best players at your position. You have to show up on the stat sheet to get the big bucks. And really, if you think about it, Davon Godchaux, one, he doesn't put up good stats. He doesn't put up high pressure rates. He doesn't put up extreme amount of run stuffs that's out of the wazoo. He doesn't get to the quarterback in terms of sacks. In fact, let me share my screen via PFF here. Make sure you guys can see this. So, as you guys can see right here, Davon Godchaux this past season was the 102nd best ranked interior defensive lineman in the league. It only goes up to 130. So, according to PFF, he was almost pretty close to the worst interior defensive lineman this past season. He put up an overall run defensive grade of 51.6, a pass rush grade of 50, and somehow he has a coverage grade, which I don't understand, of 60. But if we go ahead and we look at this a little bit closer, if I can zoom in here a little bit, there we go. Okay, so he was the 102nd best overall interior defensive lineman out of 130. In terms of run defense, he was the 77th best interior defensive line out of 137. In terms of pass rush, he was 105th out of 109th. And he had a pretty rough season. I mean, this was his worst season in the NFL so far. And I think that's what's so ironic, was the fact that Davon Godchaux wanted a new contract, wanted more money, wanted more respect, but he's coming off of his worst statistical and worst graded season of his NFL career. And what I think is more bizarre is the fact that Davon Godchaux thought that he had any type of leverage holding in during practice when every single year that he's been here in New England, he has only gotten worse and worse and worse. You look at 2021, first year in New England, overall grade 63.7. Takes a pretty big step back in 2022 with an overall grade of 53.1. Then in this past season, again, 2023, drops all the way down to 50.2. To me, I was not a big fan of giving Davon Godchaux more money. What I did say is, yes, revise that contract because he had zero guaranteed money on his deal. And I don't believe that players should play for zero guaranteed money. Now, maybe if you're like a UDFA and you're pushing for a roster spot and have to prove yourself, all right, maybe. But when we're talking about a starter and a veteran to this team, no, he should not play with zero guaranteed money. So I understood that part. But I was under the assumption, do not extend him. Okay, he's about to hit his 30s. He's closer to being out of the league than he is making a true impact and being in his prime. You get to the end of the 2024 season. You have the second most cap space in the NFL. You can upgrade at that position. There is no reason to extend him, but they still did so. And again, we have to see if there's any void years in this contract. We have to see how easy the Patriots could get out of it in a year from now, 2 years from now, if they really want to. But I just really hope that this isn't going to be one of those contracts where the Patriots look down the line a year from now, 2 years from now, and they say, you know what? He's only gotten worse since we gave him this contract, and now we can't get out of it. This is kind of biting us in the butt. Because the last thing you want is to have to keep Davon Godchaux around because you gave him a contract that prevents you from ultimately getting out of the deal. And again, we don't have those numbers right now, so it's kind of a what if until we get those numbers. But at the end of the day, I think it's a reasonable contract for him, but it's only reasonable if he can get back to, a 2022 or a 2021 version of himself. But that's kind of my thoughts on this whole Davon Godchaux situation. Again, you can understand where Matthew Judon would be upset at this point. The fact that guys who don't have as much of a significant impact as Matthew Judon does getting deals before he did. I mean, you can't make this stuff up, man. You really can't make this stuff up. Make sure you guys do go ahead, though, and check out the products below from Fanatics. I listed a bunch of them, some of my favorite products, honestly. In fact, can I show you guys one of them? Actually, no, I don't have it pulled up, so I cannot. But when you guys go ahead and check out some of those products below from Fanatics, I'm sure you hit the description box, you're going to see a bunch of them pop up. When you guys go ahead and purchase those, it actually goes ahead and supports the channel significantly just because I make a small commission off of it. Like I said, it's from Fanatics, so it's completely safe. It's just a referral link. So basically, if you're going to go ahead on Fanatics and buy a Drake May jersey anyway, consider just clicking the link to take you there, and they'll actually give me a small commission off of it anyway. But I want to get into some of the things that you guys are saying here. Ooh. And I see some people kind of mentioning the Christian Barmore situation and trying to say that, well, this deal was needed because of Christian Barmore. Which, by the way, we never really talked about the Christian Barmore incident. As we all know, he has blood clots. He's out indefinitely. Blood clots is one of those situations where it's really tough because it's not a physical injury. It's a health injury, and you never know with health. Everybody's different, especially when it comes to health. Those types of situations are really just dependent on each individual person. The problem, too, is that we, at least the fans, the media, we're not told where these blood clots are. Now, if this is like David Andrews in 2020, 2021, I think it was 2020 when David Andrews had blood clots in his lungs, he was out pretty much the entire season. So if this is a situation where Christian Barmore has blood clots in his lungs, yeah, he's probably going to be out for the season. At least he's not coming back anytime soon. Now, if he has blood clots somewhere else, Christian Barmore could return sooner rather than later. If you look it up, you'll actually see the severity depending on where the blood clots are. So, I mean, best case scenario, Christian Barmore could be back in a month. But again, this all just depends on where those blood clots are. This deal, though, has absolutely nothing to do with Christian Barmore. It doesn't. Because if they felt that they needed Davon Godchaux happy, at least for this year, let's say Christian Barmore is out for this entire 2024 season, and they needed Godchaux to take a much bigger step and a much bigger leap to be a bigger part of this defense and this defensive line, then all they had to do was revise his contract for this year. They did not need to give him a 2-year contract extension if this had to do with the Christian Barmore situation, because, whether Barmore is out for this upcoming season completely or not, he'll be back in some type of capacity at some point in 2025. So again, there's really no parallels between the two. Whether Christian Barmore was here or not, this contract would have been given to Davon Godchaux with this 2-year contract extension. GC Sports, longtime supporter, with a question. Global, I have an off-topic question. I am beginning to apply to college. Where do you think I should apply? I want to major in business and sports management. There's a lot of really good colleges out there, man. I think, honestly, it really just depends. It really just depends on what you are specifically looking for, where it is that you live, and how far you want to be from home, how close you want to be from home. I currently go to Full Sail University. That is a school in Winter Park, Florida, just outside of Orlando. It's like 30 minutes from Disney World. That's a school that has some of the things that you're looking for. See, so I'm getting my degree there in sports casting. But if you don't want to go all the way to Florida, you can also do it online. So like me personally, I'm not in Florida right now. I'm getting my degree online, kind of on my own time. So I think that's definitely a school that I would look into as one of the possibilities. Ithaca, New York is another really, really good one. Again, it all just kind of depends on your own situation and kind of what you're looking to do and how far or how close you want to be from home. J-Pod says, if Barmore is on blood thinners, he's not playing this upcoming season. Same thing happened to David Andrews. Again, it's a little bit of a difficult situation just because we don't know completely what the medical situation is with Barmore. David Andrews had blood clots in his lungs, so that was a lot more severe. That's like the most severe, or at least one of the most severe places that you can have blood clots. So understandable he didn't play that entire season. It just depends on, again, where those blood clots are for Barmore. Joe comes in saying, I'm going to training camp and I'm bringing my own Judon contract, $19 million with $8 million a guarantee. I think that this definitely also has to be kind of like a foundation for what Matthew Judon is now going to look for. Just because, obviously, they're both defensive linemen. They're similar in age. Judon is 30, 31. And then Godchaux is 29. So they're pretty similar in age. If they're going to give Godchaux like $8 million guaranteed, they're going to have to give Matthew Judon, I'm thinking like $8 to $10 million in guaranteed money. Look, I understand the situations are a little bit different. Judon is a little bit older. Judon's coming off of a season-ending injury. But again, he has showed that there's no slowing down for him. You know what I'm saying? Like, so far in training camp and spring practices, he's as dominant as ever, if not more dominant, to be completely honest. It doesn't seem like this bicep injury is lingering or nagging or is going to prevent him from coming back and being as explosive as he was before. So looking at the fact that he's a much better player, a much more impactful player than Davon Godchaux, he's probably going to be looking for more guaranteed money than Godchaux was ultimately given. Now, I broke this down yesterday during yesterday's live stream, so you guys can go ahead and check that video out for more of my overall breakdown on Matthew Judon. We looked at kind of some similar contracts, what he could potentially be looking at. I think that he's probably going to be looking for like $20 to $24 million per year. Just if you look at the players that are comparable to him, age and whatnot, different factors put in there, I would be surprised if Judon accepted less than $20 million per year. And let me tell you, if he does accept less than $20 million per year and he's okay with 18 or 19, absolutely no reason why the Patriots should not have offered already that contract to Judon and given him that a paper to sign on immediately. If he's willing to sign for $18, $19 million per year, that is an absolute bargain deal for this team. And if they think they're going to get him for $15 million per year or less, they're just disrespecting him at that point. But I think too, with extending Davon Godchaux, he plays a pivotal role in something that they want to do, and that is stopping the run. He's a big body. Okay, he's not prolific at stopping the run. He's not prolific at making plays at or behind the line of scrimmage. It's not like he was Anthony Jennings last year, nor has he ever been Anthony Jennings throughout his career with the Patriots, or really throughout his career in general. He doesn't get to the quarterback, but what he does is he's a space eater. And more specifically, in this Patriots defensive scheme, they need a nose tackle. And again, maybe if they wanted to get rid of Godchaux before, they could have hit free agency in the draft and found a nose tackle. But right now, on the open market, there's no true nose tackles out there. The only other nose tackle on the Patriots' current roster is Jeremiah Farms, who's repping as the second nose tackle. And while I like Jeremiah Farms, he's definitely not as good as Davon Godchaux is, right? He's not going to make as big of an impact as Davon Godchaux was. And Davon Godchaux is also a leader. He's a veteran. He knows what to expect, as where Jeremiah Farms, he's older for sure. I think he's like 27 already, but he hasn't had the career and the starts that Davon Godchaux has. Because what we have to remember is that not all interior defensive linemen are the same. You have your interior defensive linemen like a Lawrence Guy, like a Christian Barmore, a Daniel Aquale, a Dietrich Wise, and then you have your interior defensive linemen like a Jeremiah Farms or a Davon Godchaux. Being a true defensive tackle versus being a true nose tackle are two very different styles of play. So if the Patriots do want to play a very specific style of defense, especially like they did last year, that requires a nose tackle, they kind of need Davon Godchaux because they don't have anybody who can replace him. Now, do I think it would be easy to replace Matthew Judon? No, but I think it'd be easier to replace the role of Matthew Judon, and it would take multiple guys to do so, but I think you can replace the role of Matthew Judon currently on the roster much easier than you could replace the role of Davon Godchaux. Because you have good edge rushers. You have Keon White, you have Josh Uche, you have Dietrich Wise, you have guys that can get the job done. It's going to take multiple guys. No one's going to do it as high as a level as Judon, but you don't have anybody that's going to be able to truly back up and replace the role of Davon Godchaux. And I think that's the leverage that Davon Godchaux had going into this. Are we going live for preseason games too? I have to see how I'm going to do this exactly. I got to see kind of my schedule with Roundtable Sports and everything we're doing. I'm actually hosting, guys. Exciting news. I'm hosting 2 shows for Roundtable Sports this upcoming season. It's the AFC West. Is it the NFC East? NFC West? Anyway, I'm hosting 2 Roundtable channels this upcoming season on Tuesdays. That's starting this upcoming Tuesday, while also, of course, being the Patriots representation on their Wednesday shows. I'm also managing the social media. So I'm doing a lot for Roundtable Sports this upcoming season on top of what I'm doing here at Patriots Global, on top of also, of course, doing streams for Bleacher Report. So there's a lot of things that are happening this upcoming season. I'll have to see if we want to test it for the preseason or not. So that's something I'll have to let you know. But definitely week 1, we will be doing live watch parties. So again, a lot of exciting things happening. Do I think that the Patriots will compete for the AFC East in 2025? Yes, I do. For 2024, no. And I don't think anyone should be expecting that. If it happens, that's great. But I think you're asking for like a CJ Stroud type of season. And I don't know, comparing any team to have a CJ Stroud Houston Texans like rookie year, I think is kind of disrespectful, just because that would be kind of like comparing something to Tom Brady, right? Like, it's just an anomaly. It doesn't happen. And you hope that you're able to also be an anomaly and match it. But I think we need to hone our expectations a little bit differently, just because when CJ Stroud also entered the Texans in his rookie year, he was immediately the starting quarterback. He was getting first team reps. That's not what's happening with Drake May. In spring practices, Drake May had to earn quarterback 2 reps. He started as quarterback 3. Right now, he's still quarterback 2, and he's working with the second team offense, second team offensive line, second team receivers. He's not even working with the guys that he would be playing with if he started this upcoming season, which in itself I don't understand. So I don't think they're going to be too competitive this upcoming season. I don't think they're going to push for the AFC East or to push for the playoffs. But I think that in 2025, as long as Drake May shows that he has the potential that we saw when he was the 3rd overall pick, then I don't see why the Patriots can't compete. I don't think that the future of the Jets is very bright. After Aaron Rodgers leaves, whether that's a year from now or 2 years from now, they're back into the quarterback carousel, and we know that the Jets aren't good in the quarterback carousel. Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson. So I don't think that they'll be, I don't think they're going to be bad. I think they'll be a middle of the pack team because of how good their defense is and the offensive weapons they have. But I don't think they're going to be a team that competes for the AFC East once Rodgers leaves. The Bills, I think the Bills are going to take a couple of years to get back to being a true contender in terms of a Super Bowl contender. They're going to compete for the AFC East every single year, but I think they took a massive, massive step back offensively and defensively to where, I think it could take a couple of years for them to get truly back into their prime. And then as for the Miami Dolphins, dude, it's the Miami Dolphins. They choke the second half of the season every single year. What happens when, what happens when Tyreek Hill ends up retiring and they don't have that true number 1 wide receiver? To me, the Miami Dolphins are successful because of Tyreek Hill. They're not successful because of Tua. So I think that when Tyreek Hill does end up retiring, I think that we're going to see the Dolphins take a big step back. And as long as the Patriots can capitalize on these other teams in the AFC East taking a step back and having the questions, and the Patriots can develop over the next year or two and start to get better and take advantage again of these teams kind of taking a step back, then I don't see why the Patriots can't compete in 2025. And then this will be the last one we answer. Just kind of wanted to go live and touch on the Davon Godchaux situation here. But how do you feel about our defense with no Judon or Barmore? Shout out to you, Ray. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Now, we ultimately don't know, again, the situation on either of these guys. Now, I would say, obviously, Christian Barmore playing week 1, that's probably as good as out at this point. We don't know what's happening with his certain situation. I don't want to say that he's out for the season until we know where those blood clots are. Everybody's immediately saying this is David Andrews. He's out for the season. David Andrews had blood clots in his lungs. That's, again, one of the most severe places that you can have that. Very, very different situation. Where those blood clots are will determine how long that Barmore is going to be out. And the reason that they say he's out indefinitely is because it's a health situation. It's not like it's in a torn Achilles or he tore his ACL or something like that, right? Something that a physical injury you have a timetable with. When it's kind of health related, you never truly have much of a timetable. And I think that there's a lot of questions that they still don't know about Barmore. As for Judon, he's kind of up in the air too. I think that Judon is going to be here for at least next season. Will the Patriots get an extension done or not? I don't know, but I think they'll figure something out to where Judon plays at least this upcoming season. Hopefully they get an extension done, but if not, then he hits free agency at the end of this year. But I think he'll at least be here this upcoming year. But if for some reason both of those guys aren't here, the Patriots D-line takes a massive step back because they lose their 2 best defensive players, and their pass rush takes a major step back at that. The Patriots pass rush was pretty much non-existent when Matthew Judon got injured last year. And the only reason that they had some pressure down the stretch was because of Christian Barmore. So if now you're losing both of those guys, they're going to have to find ways to get alternative pressure by blitzing their linebackers more and coming up with unique blitz packages. And, we'll probably see more cornerback blitzes and safety blitzes off of the edge. So that's kind of how I see that situation going out. Big shout out to Ashton, who says it before I can. Please make sure you guys hit that big thumbs up, though, on your way out. Please make sure you guys do also let me know, what are your thoughts on the situation with Davon Godchaux? Look, it's not the player we wanted to get extended, but at the end of the day, we don't want drama. We don't want drama, and this Davon Godchaux situation is one chip one more chip that is officially off the shoulders of Jerod Mayo, Elliott Wolf, the Patriots, and he'll officially be a full participant moving forward. One less situation for them to work on. And now hopefully this means that their full time and their full effort and their main focus is going to be figuring out this situation with Matthew Judon. If they're going to give an extension to Davon Godchaux, absolutely zero reason to not give an extension to Matthew Judon. So make sure you guys leave a big like on your way out. Subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. I will have a training camp related video out today or tomorrow. I want to talk about my winners and losers from their first week. Your boy will also be there this upcoming Friday and Saturday, reporting live from Gillette Stadium. I'll have my own notes. Hopefully, we're able to take videos again this year so I can have some exclusive footage for you guys, but stay tuned for that. Excited to give you guys some exclusive content live from Gillette Stadium. And again, that will be this weekend. But I appreciate you guys all so much for watching, all the support lately. But most importantly, of course, as always, never forget, go Pats.